Thank you, and so nice being here. We are proud to be here, and you are such good hosts, so thank you very much for your kind invitation, and it's a great opportunity to exchange some experiences from Danish healthcare. I think that I'm going to say sorry about the language thing. You know, actually, when we were younger, we used to watch a lot of German television in Denmark. So just a disclaimer, we understand what you say, but then something happened, and now we watch a lot of American television, so we simply don't speak German, but we understand, so beware. So, I'm going to talk about collaboration in Danish healthcare. And it's both collaboration between public and private parts of healthcare, facilitating that, and it's also collaboration between the IT industry and the public e-health organization as Medcom. I'm the CEO of Medcom. I've been that since 2014, and I have been a part of the organization since 1997. So I have been on a journey with the digitalization of Danish healthcare, and I'll take the chance to give you a little sneak peek, to look a little back on the history and how we got one of the most digitalized healthcare systems in the world. There's a lot of talking about the future of healthcare right now in Denmark because we are facing a huge reform of the healthcare sector, but today I'll take the chance to look a little back. So, I think yes, actually I visited Bern once before, in 2019 for the OFAC forum, and gave a speech to a lot of pharmacists, I think it was. And after the speech, one of from the audience confronted me and said, "Did I understand you right? Do the Danish doctors actually like to use IT?" And I must say they do. And I very often recommend, it's very nice of you to invite me, but perhaps you should someday invite a Danish GP and ask her, because it's very much women these days, ask her how her daily working life would be without IT. Because using electronic patient records, using data exchange many times a day has made a huge difference for the efficiency of daily work in the clinics. So that's a part of the story about the success in Danish healthcare. So I'm going to talk a little about how Medcom, my organization, is related to Danish healthcare, so to say. I'm going to talk more about standards, not the technical part, because I'm a health economist, so I don't know the technical parts, but I know what it's used for. And a little sneak peek to the structural reform in Denmark. You already heard about how we are organized, and let's be honest. The door is closed. We are a closed group. There is huge differences between your country and how you choose to organize healthcare and how we have chosen to organize healthcare in Denmark. But I think that we are both facing the lack of healthcare professionals. I think both countries would like a very effective, huge efficiency in healthcare. I think that we all like quality in our health services. And I also think that we actually don't like monopolies. Nor public monopolies, nor private monopolies. And if we don't like monopolies, then we have to set data free. And that's what we are doing using digitalization. No matter how we choose to organize our healthcare system. So all these different parts of Danish healthcare, what we have achieved is that they actually not only use electronic patient record systems, both in the hospitals, public hospitals, private hospitals, GPs, every part of the practice sector, foot therapists, physiotherapists, chiropractors, everyone use patient record systems, and they all exchange health data between these IT systems every day, every hour, every minute. Every month, more than 7.5 million digital messages are exchanged between all these different IT systems when the patients move around in the healthcare system. Every month, more than 3 million digital prescriptions are exchanged, shared between different parts of healthcare. And every year, more than 3 million times the health professionals access our health portal, governed by Morten, because they need to look up data, for example, in acute situations where they cannot get hold of data in any other way. They look up in a central place, being the health portal. So it's used a lot. So what is Medcom? I represent a public organization, public financed, public owned, but not an authority. We are a collaboration. I'm going to say collaboration many times during my speech. So we were established way back in '94. Some of you remember '94, some of you don't. That was some years before internet, just to. So what we did back then was actually that we saw in other businesses, we saw in logistics and trade, we saw ordering, we saw billing, transactions being digital, and the thought was, could we use that kind of technology in the cooperating healthcare sector too? So we actually took the techniques from the private sector and tried to put it into the mainly public healthcare sector, because there's a lot of transactions too in Danish healthcare. Ordering, laboratory analysis, getting the answers back, a lot of paperwork in those days. So what we did was actually that we sat down in the chair of the GP and we started counting. How many referrals on paper? How many prescriptions? How many times do you talk on the phone with the home care services in the municipalities? So we counted and we counted and counted. And the most frequent communications in and out of these private clinics, we said, okay, we need standards for that. So that is one very important lesson learned. You have to count, because digitalization is not cheap. It's a huge task, and you have to invest in it. So you have to start by where there's a lot of transactions to make the business case good. So that was when we started. That was our first standards. And we even made a standard for the reimbursement of the GPs. That was very important too. So get rid of the paper and make something that is helpful for the clinicians. That was what we did. Back in those days, Medcom was a public-private cooperation. We even got money from the private industry to get this up and running. Today, Medcom is a 100% public-financed organization, making helpful standards and infrastructure for both the healthcare sector and the IT industry. So today we are owned by the Ministry of Health, the regions taking care of the hospitals, as Andreas also told you, and the local government, Denmark, all the municipalities taking care of the home care services and so on. So, Medcom standards. It's not that tricky. It's just that to find out in what situations, clinical situations, do you need to exchange data, and what is the data needed? Because we have so much data in Danish healthcare, that you have to give the clinicians an overview of the relevant data. We don't have to give them access to everything every time. We need to find out what data is needed in this situation. And then we have to, put some technical stuff around it to make the IT systems able to exchange it. So we support the exchange of health data between the different IT systems. Sometimes we need to transfer the patient from the GP to the hospital, to the private specialist. We need to exchange laboratory reports and that kind of things. So there's a lot of transactions going on. So we need to, make the data follow the patient around in the healthcare system. So that's one kind of standards. Sometimes we need standards that allow healthcare professionals to retrieve data on their own initiative. That's another kind of standards where we need data sharing. And sometimes we need standards to give the citizen access to their own data on the health portal and help professionals to look up something else. And that's where we need the health portal. So we make standards for all three purposes: to send, to share, and to look up. We use international standards. No one would say you shouldn't, but beware. International standards are frameworks. So you have to put a lot of effort into making the international standards work in your country and in your healthcare system. We made that mistake in Medcom, to think, we just use the international standards. And nothing worked, because international standards, you have a lot of possibilities to put data, the same data, different places. And the IT vendors, they made it totally different. So we found out the hard way: please be precise. And not only be precise in a national context within the framework of the international standards, but also you have to test, you even have to certify if the IT vendors use the standards in the same way to make this happen. So international standard, yes, but it's not enough. You have to move it on and make it fit into how you choose to organize your healthcare system. Sometimes when I give presentations for foreigners, they say, Lars, couldn't we buy a copy of your standards? Please, it's free. It's on our website. It's even in English. But don't miss the point here. You cannot use Danish standards. One thing is that your healthcare sector is different from ours, but another thing is you have to collaborate with your healthcare professionals about what do they need to get some ownership to use the standards. So please don't pick it down from the sky. Please talk about it. Collaborate. Meet. There's a lot of talking, but otherwise you will never succeed. We have managed to make international, a national implementation, and more than 7 million digital messages a month is exchanged. Referrals, discharge letters, laboratory requisitions and results. Within elderly care, admission, discharge notification when the elderly people move in and out of the hospitals, they often do. Care and rehabilitation plans, birth notifications when a new Dane is born, clinical emails. And you can see on the blue figure, you can see some kind of an S shape. It's very hard in the beginning, then it works, and then you know the last 10% of the clinicians, they really don't like digitalization, so you have perhaps to use a little stick to get it fully disseminated. And then something strange happened in 2020. I don't know if you remember. There's a peak, a lot of testing going on. And just imagine, we already had a national system for laboratory requisitions. We already had the standards for digital exchange of the laboratory reports. We moved the test strategy, we moved out this testing to tents all over the country, and everything was digital. So what the GP in Denmark, GPs had been done for several years in their clinic, we managed to get into the tents on the parking lots in Denmark. Everything was in the system, just something into your mouth, down to the glass. The requisition was digitally transmitted to the laboratory, and the answer was very rapid, ready. For example, on the healthcare portal, where you could look up, was it positive or negative? So, on top of all this work for the clinicians, we got a very effective test strategy during the COVID-19 period. And then things got normal again. The black one is funny, because one of the huge successes of Medcom in the 90s was the e-prescription. Because we already had the patient record systems at the GP clinics, and we already had IT at the pharmacies. So the GP should make a prescription, reusing data from the own IT system, transmitting to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy even used the data from the GP to put out the labels on the pill boxes, and even used the data for managing their storage. They were very happy about that, both at the GPs and at the pharmacies. One thing missed, and that was all the other parts of healthcare system. The home care workers, the drug facilities needed to know what medicine is actually given to this patient. So we needed a new system, not a store and forward system between GPs and pharmacies, but a common medication scheme where you actually could look up every day, every hour, what is the actually medication of this citizen to get quality in healthcare. So we actually closed down the traditional e-prescription on September 1st, 2014. And then today we have this shared medication prescriptions instead. So we moved from messaging prescriptions to data sharing prescriptions. So this is quite complicated, and this is not my drawing. That's a drawing from Professor Brian Dixon from the States. He has wrote a book about health information exchange and was so kind to use Denmark as a showcase. On the left side, this is also some kind of represents the history of digitalization of data exchange in healthcare in Denmark. On the left side, you have VANSNet, Value-Added Network Service. It's a commercial network, not a public, commercial network, where every part of Danish healthcare is connected. That's where we send and receive all these messages. So this is used every day, every hour, every minute in Danish healthcare. Established way back in the 90s. Then in 2003, we got a bigger sister, the internet came. The web came, and then we got a portal, because suddenly the technology allowed us to show data, the same data that is moved around between the health professionals. Suddenly we got the possibility, thanks to internet technology and to the web, to show data, not only to the citizens, but also to the health professionals. 2003. You'll talk a lot more about that. And then in 2009, we got, again, thanks to technology and changes in technology, we got the opportunity to share data among IT systems, not only send and receive, but share real time. And that's where we got this among other things, this shared medication record that I talked about. 2016, we got this General Data Protection Regulation in the EU. And I think that when you move from the old-fashioned way of sharing data, where I send something to you, and you put it up in the portal or for data sharing, you simply introduce some privacy issues, because when I send a referral to you, I know where it ends. It ends at your place and your IT systems. But when I put it up in the cloud, you don't know who will look at this data in the future. So to deal with that kind of problems and the general data protection regulation, we have had to develop some security services in the national infrastructure. We have a patient consent service. We have a treatment relation service, meaning that if you have received a referral from me, then you are probably allowed to look up my data at the portal or somewhere else. So a patient treatment relation service. And then we have this MyLog service, making it possible for me as a citizen to look up at the healthcare portal who has been looking at my data. So by introducing this sharing data large scale, we have also introduced some privacy issues, and we're trying to deal with them in a digital way too. So we are looking into this reform of our healthcare system. I think just in your country and every other Western part of the world, we see demographic changes, we see this lack of healthcare professionals, so we simply need to support these effective workflows for healthcare professionals. We have to give them a good data overview, we have to give them some interoperability. So we see when you change the healthcare sector, and in my 28 years in the healthcare area, there's been a lot of changes. And when you change the way you have your healthcare sector, you organize your healthcare sector, you also change the tasks for us. Suddenly you move some tasks from the regions to the municipalities, now you move them back to the regions and the hospitals. And every time you do that, you make some new barriers between the different stakeholders in healthcare. And every time there is this barrier and this handover of the patient, there's a need for a standard for data exchange to make some smooth pathways for the patients. So we're looking at new needs for data sharing across sectors, and that means new needs for Medcom standards. And one thing is that we are not that good at yet is real-time access to data. And again, I think that new technology, the next step, will help us. That will be one of the huge achievements in the future in Denmark. We need to give more real-time access in acute situations, especially. And then we also see that the lack of doctors and the change in demographics, we simply need to have more citizens taking care of themselves. And for that, there's a talk about the need for a digital front door. And if this front door should be more intelligent than it already is in the health portal, we need to reuse data to make this front door clever by using AI. And again, if you want to use data, you need some standards to get data accessible and reusable. And we'll have new tasks for the healthcare portal. I'm sure Morten will talk a little more about that. So I have only one slide left, and that is because I think that one of the things that made Medcom and standardization of data exchange a success in Danish healthcare is that we had no ambition of doing this perfect. Because if you reach out for perfect technology, you have to look out the window to see if your IT environment is perfect. I've never seen that. I have seen big systems, I have seen small systems, I have seen new systems, I have seen old systems, I have seen very cheap systems, I have seen very, very expensive systems. And our task is to bridge between all that. So, we need to be pragmatic. And in Medcom, making standards work, we need to add some pragmatism. Because when I look out the window, I don't know in your country, but I know in my country, the healthcare sector is not perfect. And you as managers, you have to take into consideration, if you want to standardize something within digitalization, you have to consider how much are you willing to standardize the healthcare sector and the way clinicians work. I have seen so many times that management try to use IT and digitalization to standardize the way healthcare workers actually work. It might work. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. So you have, as managers, you have to take into consideration how much will I standardize the healthcare sector as such. And you have to make that consideration be reflected into your ambitions for digitalization, not the other way around. In my experience, you won't succeed if you do it the other way around. But then again, there are some possibilities, but you have to take into consideration that if you reach out for the perfect standard, you must realize that you will have to make it work in an imperfect technology reality, and also an imperfect healthcare sector as such. The other thing is that if you then really stick to it and say, we want this perfect standard, it might take so long time to implement it that the technological development will overtake within. So you will never get the benefit, because there's always something new. There is always something new. But if you want to gain from this, you have to take time into consideration. What can we achieve in 2 or 3 years? What is realistic? And don't listen too much to the IT architects. Take into consideration as managers, what is realistic? Time for money, and how much do we want to standardize the healthcare sector as such? And then again, there might not be resources in order to implement the perfect standard. Money is an issue. This is not cheap. So, what do we mean it's a bit muddy? The work of Medcom is quite often said that we make muddy standards. Yeah, right, I say, but we made it work. And sometimes I'm asked if I'm the guy standing with the stick in the middle there. I'm not. I'm the yellow guy in the lower left corner saying, "Oh, is right." Thank you so much.